call to order this workshop for covering the street signs update for our Siloam Springs Board of Directors, February 3rd, 2026. Roll call.
Blair.
Here.
Burns.
Here.
Wiles. Hunt.
Here.
Rissler.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Thank you. And with that, Christina, I will turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This evening, Josh, our Public Works Director, is going to update you guys on signs.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board, for, one, letting me present, but two, bringing this to my attention so early after a promotion. Just to be honest with you, this probably isn't something that I would have focused on in my first 6 months, but here we are. And I've learned a lot, and so genuinely, I appreciate it being brought to my attention. I've read way more of the manual on standards than I ever thought I would as a water guy. And so the goal today is just to provide you guys with information on what we've learned, myself, and then also the staff, about street signage and all that. And then also lifespan and the factors that reduce lifespan. And then ultimately recommend a replacement cycle for the city of Siloam Springs. So first up would be, if the keyboard is not working. Neither's the arrows. Help. Because you got to turn it on. You got to reset it. One sec. Use the arrow there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's all.
Yeah. So first up is the MUTCD. You may know what that is, but in case you don't, that's the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And it is as exciting as it sounds. So if you're looking for a good read, now's the time. I've found it for you. Pick that up. A couple things I want to highlight from the manual is that it is a federally published and administered standard. So this isn't something that the state has put together, the county, the city, anything like that. This comes straight from the Federal Highway Administration. Its primary goal is to provide some uniformity for street divisions, but also, and probably more importantly, for travelers. So, we can ensure safety. Like some of you may have, my family traveled during the holidays. We were in 3 different states, multiple cities, and I can't remember a time that I had any trouble identifying street signs, what they meant, what I was supposed to do, anything like that. And that's really the goal of the standard, is so that no matter where you are in our country, you kind of know what's expected of you as a driver and to keep everyone safe. And then the other main thing is that the MUTCD does state that states must adopt this standard to remain eligible for federal funding. So I think that's an important part, not to say that the city of Siloam Springs can't ever do anything unique to our street signs, but I just think it's something we do need to consider if we want to make any changes to our street signs, especially and really predominantly on state highways, federal highways. That's really where that applies most to us. So jumping into kind of where we are today, this may look a little different. I added a slide or two today, but just kind of where we are today. I think long story short, we realized pretty quickly that this was an issue. A lot of areas in town, we noticed some inconsistencies in visibility between neighborhoods. So even in some of our newer neighborhoods, we have homes built 5 or 6 years ago, and like my neighborhood, for example, my house was built in 2022. We bought it in 2022, and most of the signs in my neighborhood need to be replaced today, only a couple years later. And then also noticed that there was some suspicion of some mixed sheeting types across the city. We did find a policy that, just to be totally frank, it was a little out of date. And we have updated it. I think the last step is to send it over to Christina for review. But it kind of referred to an older manual and wasn't super clear, kind of vague on some of the requirements. Nobody's fault necessarily, just something we found and that we're going to mitigate pretty quickly. So the other thing being is that there were definitely some aging signs. This is kind of what got it brought on with the mast arm signs was the original conversation, but a lot of faded signs, a lot of cracked signs, a lot of signs that have been bent or hit or that were missing completely or twisted or fallen over or whatever else. But like I said, the main thing is that this is definitely an issue that we want to address. So speaking of the reflective sheeting material, there are 6 different types. Type 1 would be like your minimum standard. So like an engineering grade. This basically makes sure you're compliant, but it also, as you can see, has the lowest lifespan and fades the fastest. So this will get you compliant, but most street divisions, including ours, does not use the engineering grade. It's really not an efficient way to do it. And then as you go down the list, obviously the higher the type, the longer the lifespan, but then the higher the cost. So your type 6s, type 5 and 6 are going to be used in mast arm signs, predominantly stop signs, yield signs, maybe identifying where a hospital may be, anything that's going to kind of take that extra step in ensuring the safety of the traffic, or if you need to get to a hospital or something like that, where you want, as someone at night driving up on a stop sign or a yield sign, you want to, without a doubt, see that sign and make that stop because you don't want to cause an accident. It's also used like in mast arm signs because of the lifespan. So in order to change a life or a mast arm sign, you're putting a bucket truck in the middle of the highway. Usually, that's what we have to do. Obviously, you want to reduce the amount of times you're putting workers in harm's way as much as you possibly can. So a bucket truck, it's huge, it's very visible, has the flashing lights, it has the cones, but we've all probably seen the videos on YouTube or wherever people are still hitting those things, and it's still dangerous having people in the highways and things. So the type 3 and type 4 have the asterisks there. That is the type that the city of Siloam uses, and then also most of the divisions around us also use the type 3 or 4. And I say type 3 or 4 because even as the notes say here, there's not a lot of difference. I mean, the description in type 4 is that it's similar to type 3. And you're usually using those because it's just a good balance of cost, but then durability as well. So there are factors, no matter what type you're using, there are factors that are going to reduce lifespan. Predominantly, and I brought some examples over here to show you guys, is UV exposure. So we're in the northern hemisphere, sun east to west, obviously, but any south-facing anything is going to take on a lot more UV exposure than any other direction. So a great example of this is one sign that we just took down not long ago. So this is Cornell Street, East Cornell Street. You can see that's still pretty green. That's pretty visible, very legible. I could go stand outside and most of us could probably read it pretty easily. I mean, like I said, it's holding its color well. This was the north-facing side. If you flip this sign over, that's south-facing side. Not as legible, especially at night when you want it to be very legible. You want that reflective material to pop. You want to be able to know where you're trying to go. Obviously missing a street may not be as important as a stop sign, but the point is that UV exposure can really deteriorate a sign pretty quickly. So,
Josh, do you know how old that sign is, or
Yeah.
when it was installed?
Yeah, great question.
Or the sheeting on it, do you know?
yeah, no, staff, when we get it done, the metal and the sheeting goes on at the same time. They make the whole thing for us. Staff estimates this is only 4 or 5 years old.
So we got a
This should
lesser,
last. Yeah,
less,
This could give us another easily 4 or 5 years, probably.
but I'm saying the reason it faded because we got the cheaper, less
No, we'll get to
sheeting.
that here in a little bit.
Oh,
but
okay.
We think we know why this may have happened, so. Anyway, good example of the UV exposure and how that affects the lifespan. The next one's weather extremes. This is especially in Arkansas, it's super hot in the summer, but it's also could rain, by the end of the week this week, and hail and tornado. Then it could also snow and ice by a couple of days later, who knows. All of those things are going to play into your signs and reducing their lifespan. Heat or thawing and freezing and rain hitting it, hail hitting it, the heat hitting it, all that stuff is going to deteriorate your signs. The next one is faulty material or insulation. The part of that policy I referred to earlier that we found some gaps in was it was kind of vague on installation. So installation, really the signs need to be buried probably up to 18 inches. The policy that we found really didn't call that out. And the policy also called out color, but it didn't specify type. So that's important. You can get a pretty green engineer grade that's not gonna last you as long. And again, I don't think it's, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not trying to, anything like that. I guess I'm just saying we found a gap in a policy and we're gonna fix it. And then faulty materials, Director Allen, this may answer your question. I don't know that this is necessarily faulty material, but years ago, the city switched, and most cities in our area, most divisions in our area switched from a laser cut design to an etched design. Still the same type of sign as far as the types that we discussed a little bit ago. But, you know, funny enough, a few weeks ago or months ago, I guess, one of the vendors called our staff and asked like, hey, we've had other divisions complain about longevity of signs. They're noticing that their signs are fading much quicker than the older laser cut style. Are y'all experiencing that? And of course, we were like, dude, you could not have called at a better time. Yeah, we're getting, 4 or 5 years out of signs that should be lasting us 8 to 10 or 12 years. So basically the difference is that, like on this Cornell Street, this whole thing here is printed and then kind of etched into the, like stamped, so to speak, onto this material. Like I said, super green, super visible, but doesn't seem to hold up as well to the southern exposure, to the elements, just in general.
We've had that same thing on the east-west exposure on Sherry Whitlock, yeah.
Yep.
Heavy sun.
Josh, you said your neighborhood signs already need replaced?
Yeah.
Even just since 2022? Were they the etched ones?
Yeah, yep. So this is the laser cut. Obviously, this is cracked. It's needing replaced. That's why I have it here. But it's still very green. Like you can see that it held its color very well. Staff estimates this sign being between 10 and 12 years old. So we've got our money's worth out of this sign.
I was gonna say, as beat up as it is, it's gotta be an older sign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like the other side, that may have been facing, east or west, I don't know, but it's a little more beat up. But at night, you're still gonna be able to see this.
And this is laser cut?
This is laser cut.
Wow.
You're still gonna be able to see this. You're still gonna be able to read it. You're still gonna know where you need to go. All that's good. They also made the switch to stop signs, really all signs, because it's just a little bit cheaper to go with the etched design by like average about $10 a sign. But we're starting to think the $10 may not have been worth it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that. The next one is vegetation and obstruction. I'm sure we've all seen, you drive up on a sign and like a tree, usually it's a tree limb, that's kind of rubbing the sign and degrading that. You may even see like a mark on the sign where it's been rubbing it for some time and degrading that material. And then the last one is physical damage. This is gonna be like, a motor vehicle hits it, vandalism, someone stealing them. I mean, the wind blows one off in a storm, who knows, just things like that. Predominantly though, this is gonna be vandalism, people stealing them maybe because they have their last name on them or first name or whatever, and vehicles hitting them, so. This, I didn't really know a great place to put it, so we'll put it right here. This is one of the new mast arm signs, so I was gonna bring them, but they're almost 5 foot tall, I think, so it would have been kind of awkward to get everything in here. But one change, or a couple changes we made on this was that we increased, we had complaints, and rightfully so, of them not being very legible because of the sizing and the spacing. So, I mean, and obviously the fading. But we increased the letter and the number size by 2 inches apiece. And we were able to do that, and as you can see, keep the same size of sign with an 18-inch height. So it didn't really, if at all, increase the cost at all. So we're excited to get those up as soon as we can, and hopefully it's as noticeable, from the ground as it is, or from the mast arm as it is from the ground.
Didn't you tell me that the reason at one point the company charges by the inch on, and
Yeah.
that's why the longer signs, a longer name's gonna be a more expensive sign because
Yeah.
of,
So mast arms are the type 5 or 6 that we talked about. So they charge by inch or length. They also charge by type. So a mast arm sign's roughly $3 an inch. Breaks down to $3 an inch. A normal, we use a 9-inch sign, 9-inch height sign. For like our normal street signs, regular street sign, that's like $1.20-ish. So that's, like I said, that's because of size, but also type.
Planning
Going
needs to-
for, oh, go ahead.
Planning needs to keep that in mind. They don't approve supercalifragilistic, some long name for a sign.
So they will be upper lowercase going forward?
Yeah, so if referring back to the standard, it does say in there that we shall have this lettering style on highway, state and federal highway signs. Now, I will say, I know of others that don't. But I think, this is my recommendation as the Public Works Director, that we follow that standard, at least on highway signage. One, for mainly because of a liability thing. We don't want someone to, one of the reasons why they say that we shall do that is because of the speed. Somebody much smarter than me did a study and decided that the upper lowercase makes it more legible at a higher speed. So I think it is in our best interest, but that's just my recommendation.
The ones I noticed recently was Tawnytown has put new masts over, they put up new stoplights, right? Like near Venetian Inn, and they're doing, they're not doing the recommendation. Yeah, I think you'd sent me, it said recommendation, and then it says shall, and I'm like, no wonder some people can overlook something, but
Yeah,
that
so-
was surprising to me because it's a brand-new sign.
Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of lettering, they refer to this, like on a normal street sign, they refer to that as a legacy lettering or legacy style, and that is allowed for like your regular street signs, mainly because of the speed limit, because most cities or most city streets are, 30, we have a few that are 25, but you're going much slower, so you have a little bit more time, I guess, to decipher what that sign is saying or whatever.
But is your plan eventually to be consistent throughout the city? Not upper, lower, or will
Right
you
now,
keep
I
all
think I'm
caps?
okay with all uppercase, like the legacy design, if that's what we all want to do. But I mean, ultimately, I'll do whatever my superior tells me to do. So, but I think highway signs especially, we should follow.
Well, the rest of the normal residential streets are like what
Yeah.
you've shown it. They're all uppercase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for.
We're headed that direction. Some of
Except
them
for
are
the
mixed.
highway, the highway. But like now, Sherry Whitlock, are they upper and lowercase, or are they all upper?
Yeah, all the mast arm signs are upper lowercase because of the speed limit
Because of, okay.
predominantly.
Josh,
Yes, ma'am.
with the signs on the state highways or federal highways, since, normally we're not allowed to do anything without state approval, I don't suppose they help pay for any of the signs on their highways?
I know this next round, they did not.
Okay.
Or at least maybe they did. Maybe that was worked out before I was promoted, but I know that was a capital item for us, for the street division, and we covered that, yeah. And then lastly, like I said, this is just our recommended path forward. So staff would like to return to the laser cut design, mainly because overall, just managing the long-term cost. Like I said, the etch design is, roughly $10 a sign on your normal street signs, but you're replacing them, every 4 or 5 years in some cases, sometimes more. And, the older signs, although they will start cracking and things at year 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, they are lasting longer. So I think ultimately that's a lower long-term cost. We would like to continue multiple sweeps of each ward annually. I hope you guys have seen the signs that have been going up. We've ordered, I think, 120-ish at this point, and they're putting them up as fast as they come in. And then just recently, they showed me about 4 or 5 more pages of signs that they've got ordered. And that's not just street signs, that's stop signs, crosswalk signs, speed limit sign, just signs, all signs. And then replace these signs through routine maintenance and prioritizing damaged, missing, and low visibility signs. So the ones that have either been vandalized, bent, faded really badly, cracked really badly, things like that. And the benefits of this are obviously to improve that nighttime safety so you can see it, so it's legible. Consistent citywide appearance. And then, yeah, just the long-term cost again, and then referring specifically to mast arms, just having a clear and defensible standard going forward. So that's really what I got. I just wanted to kind of share with you guys what we've learned over the last few months. And again, thank you for bringing it to my attention and staff's attention. And if you spend the remainder of our time, if you'd like, just having a conversation or answering questions, or you guys giving me some things you want me to go back and look for.
Madam Mayor?
So Betsy, and then I'll come to you, David.
What do you do with the signs you take down?
Oh, man. To be honest with you, I'm not completely sure. Right now, there's a big stack in the warehouse. I can find out, though. Yeah, I'd love if there was a way, me and the department head or the superintendent, I'm sure we both would love to be able to recycle them in some way or something, but.
Yeah, I didn't know if they're recyclable, or somebody asked me recently, because they knew we were having the workshop, I don't know, can people buy signs, buy the old ones? I don't know if somebody, doesn't interest me, but if it's like you said, if it's somebody's name, or they're like, I want
Yeah.
the sign from, I don't know if that's a possibility, just somebody asked me if that was, and I said, well, I'll put it out there.
Yeah, I can look into it and see what our options are.
Okay.
Give that to Christina.
David?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Josh, for this informative workshop. This is something I've been bringing up to every city administrator for 5, 6 years, and always promises. And, it's always a budget thing usually, and I appreciate that you're looking at getting a sign that may cost a little more, but you're not going to have to replace it. It's like the cell phones. They make them to where they are obsolete quickly. Well, if you can get something that lasts twice as long, you don't have to buy it again. So I appreciate that. And I didn't know anything about the laser cut and all this stuff. So that's fantastic that you've learned. I'm sure you were looking at all these signs on your vacation, like, look at that. Yeah, big learning curve for you. But I love the idea of doing multiple sweeps of each ward annually, because that's the only way to find them, really. I remember Mr. Patterson had said he was going to have the police chief have all the patrol write them down. I'm like, how can you ask them to do that when they're trying to do the patrol officer job? And so it was something that you couldn't really get a handle on before, and I appreciate your making it a priority. And so thank you so much for getting the education for us as well as yourself, so.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Mindy.
Oh, yes, thank you. And I think it was David that sort of has driven this for a while. And to be honest, I'm kind of like you said you were. I don't really pay that much attention to the street lot signs and haven't, but I think replacing them as the need arises will help us to adhere to the policies, obviously. Safer, but also I had someone actually come up to me not too long ago and just talk about some of the faded street signs and say, we need to take more pride in our community. Yeah. And really there is something to be said for that. Yeah. So I think that will be a benefit of just keeping up with all the street signs.
And I'll say that that is the heart of the staff as well. This is our community too, and I think all of us wanted to look excellent for ourselves, but also our visitors and guests. So, yeah, that's definitely a conversation we're having. Just taking pride in making it excellent.
Yes.
Just one other point, following up on Mindy's point, seeing it so much, because I'm on the north side, and seeing Sherry Whitlock's, the ones exposed because of half the day to the east and half the day to the west. So they really were becoming illegible, unreadable. But my thought process was not just that it was the look of the town and getting consistency, and the thought that as many tourists as we have every Dogwood and, just throughout the year, we don't want people to think we don't care about the perception or the simple thing of a street sign. And so I know I've had people make fun of me harping on it, but it really is something a matter of what people look at and judge a community on simple things like that, so. And it's really been only the last few years that it's become a real problem, because I think, as you've learned, we did go to a cheaper sign, but also having no idea that the sun was gonna beat down the visibility so bad that, like everything else, you live and learn. And so we appreciate the whole department on getting on top of this.
Brad, I think you had something?
Yes, Madam Mayor. The key is on this is the example is, it's the potholes, right? We're coming up, we heard the complaints of the citizen. This is 2026, we're moving forward. We have to have plans in place. They need to be kept in place, documented, and reduce the citizens' complaints. That's my goal. And so on this one here, the font doesn't matter. The cost is worth the cost, as we discovered. You got some education off of it. We got some education off of it. And for those citizens out there that were concerned, there is a solution and there's a plan in place. And that's what we're doing this year. And we've spent tax money to address pothole issues, right? We're not gonna make everybody happy, but there's a plan in place. So when a citizen complains to me, I can say, go back to this plan. And that's what really helps. It's a tool in the toolbox.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? If not, John, oh, yes, Reed.
Thank you, Josh.
So with that, Josh, thank you very much. Appreciate that update. I'm sure the board is glad to know, as they've indicated, that we've got a plan in place, and appreciate you doing that. So thank you for bringing this to us.
Yes, ma'am.
And with that, we will adjourn this workshop, and we will reconvene for our regular board meeting at 6:35. Siloam Springs Board of Directors meeting for February 3rd, 2026. Roll call.
Blair.
Here.
Burns.
Here.
Wiles. Hunt.
Here?
Rissler.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Thank you. With that, I would like to ask if everyone would please stand with me as Director Carroll leads us in prayer, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, today we have opportunity to give thanks. We thank you for this community, the city of Siloam Springs, the people within. Thank you for the work that you're doing in our lives, in our hearts, our minds, that we may have the courage to do what you've asked us to do, to be the people you've called us to be. We can do this with peace in our heart and joy. We thank you for this upcoming season of the spring, seeing life come together again. We thank you for this, Father, as we make decisions concerning our community, that we may be that beacon on the hill. In Jesus' name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to ask anyone that has an electronic device to please silence or turn that off so we don't have that interruption during our meeting. And thank you very much for doing that. Tonight, we will start with our public input. I would ask if there is anyone here that would like to speak to this board on a matter that is not on our regular agenda. If there is, you may come to the podium. You will have, I need you to state your name and your address, and then you will have 3 minutes. So is there anyone here that would like to address the board?
Before you start, I have a handout.
You would need to give it to the city clerk. Thank you.
Name's Larry Kennemore, 207 Western Hills Drive. I've given you all an example of the new utility bill system. First, it's astounding that I found out that this change to the billing system was made without even this board's input or approval. Second, the cost involved to the citizens should not be overlooked or brushed aside. We're now being forced to pay a fee with each payment unless we pay in cash, which is definitely a change from the past. And I've recommended to all the citizens, you pay in nickels, dimes, and quarters, and just take it down there and dump it on them. And that figure is different from, based on the size of the payment and the way you pay. The most recent payment my wife paid, she was charged a $10 fee. As you can see, I was charged a $4.99 fee. However, with that said, these fees show up nowhere. I mean, absolutely nowhere, except on our bank accounts. Doesn't show up in the city anywhere. Nowhere can you find it. Doesn't even show up in the billing system. So let's look at the figures I've given you. Copies of the utility bill and the payment note, $4.99 difference. This figure, again, shows up nowhere. One, there's 12,312 homeowners billed through this new system, which excludes businesses, by the way, which is a separate investigation. Two, using an average of $4.95 per household comes out to $60,944 monthly, which is $750,000 a year from citizens that you're collecting that you never collected in the past. The question is, where are the fees going? Does anybody here know? What about the businesses in the city? What are their charges? It seems strange that in previous board meetings, you spent so much time discussing the police and giving them a bonus, and you weren't even involved in all this money that you're charging the citizens, and you weren't even involved in approving it or knowing about it from what I heard from the board members. You need to give a report to the citizens on this money, over $750,000, probably $1 million based on the businesses. Give the citizens a report on this money, and all I have to say as the board members is shame, shame on you.
Thank you, Larry. Is there anyone else?
Mark Hayat, 751 Arkansas Highway 16 East. I'm actually here for the Rotary Club. On February 21st, the Rotary Club of Siloam Springs and Into the Light will host a line dancing event from 6 to 8 p.m. At the community building. Proceeds will go towards Into the Light and a new temporary transition shelter for human trafficking victims that they're looking to build. That's it.
Thank you, Mark. And that was February 21st, you said?
21st.
All right, is there anyone else? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to an item that is on our consent agenda? There is not. So with that, we will move to our presentations. We will have Chamber of Commerce with their fourth quarter report, Main Street Siloam Springs fourth quarter report, and then after that, we'll speak to another presentation. So here you are, Randy.
Here I am, Randy Torres, 19208 Fisher Ford Road. On behalf of the Chamber, I'm here to talk about this past quarter. A significant portion of my time has been focused on economic development and site selection efforts, including direct work with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, Colliers, and regional partners on multiple active projects. These range from acreage development on the east side of Siloam Springs to advanced manufacturing, technology, and logistics prospects, as well as a coordination with RDOT and state leadership on highway access and infrastructure needs that directly impact our ability to attract investments. At the regional level, I've been actively engaged with the Northwest Arkansas Council, the Northwest Arkansas Development Committee and Chamber executive peers and workforce development, industrial development authorities, business retention and expansion efforts, and confidential project coordination. And I'll just say it's been a delight working with our city staff on these. They're very technical and very helpful, and I think together we're going to bring some good things to our community. This includes site tours, investor discussions, EDA grant conversations tied to Smithfield, and ongoing support for existing employers like Gates Corporation and other expanding companies here in Siloam. Locally, I continue to attend and support economic development committee meetings, participate in regular city Main Street Chamber coordination, and serve as a liaison between businesses and the city on development, permitting, and expansion needs. It's been a delight to have a connection to the state to help with some state permitting issues that the city's had. And so that's been a very rewarding experience. In addition, I've worked closely with a wide range of community and regional partners from healthcare, childcare, education organizations to agriculture. A lot of the poultry issues that we're hearing about in our watershed has taken some time to help from the legislative portion of helping to influence some, maybe some good decisions on the Oklahoma side. And then some quality of life and workforce readiness opportunities as well. Finally, we continue to support community events and business engagement. Like this Thursday coming up is the 96th annual banquet. Hurry up and get your tickets. We're almost sold out. And then the morning after is First Friday Coffee at Advanced Physical Therapy. If you know where the old Back 40 restaurant was, that's where we'll be meeting at 7:30 this Friday morning. And then next week, our ballot briefing event presented by Cox will be held at the library from 12 to 1:30 p.m. next Wednesday. And then, last but not least, the Dogwood Festival. We're starting to work on that. Lindsay's done a great job working with the city and Main Street and everyone to make sure that we pull this together. And this year, it's going to be presented by Jiffy Trip. They're going to be the presenting sponsor, and so we appreciate what they bring to our community. And honestly, those are the kind of, organizations, businesses that we want here in Siloam Springs, ones that bring value and investment right back into our community. And Jiffy Trip is just one of many of those. So if there's any questions, if not, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that very much. And I do want to add my thank you to you and to Lindsay for the job that you all are doing at the Chamber. I know it's not easy, and there are some challenges that you all are presented with, but I think that you handle them with dignity and grace, and I appreciate that very much. And I do know your influence counts. I have heard different things from different people about the fact that you are working for Siloam behind the scenes that we don't even know about, so thank you. Thank you for that. And I know this board appreciates that. So with that, we've got our Main Street report.
Good evening.
Good
How are
evening.
you guys? My name's Cherry Harrison, and I am on the board for Main Street Siloam and representing, since Abby couldn't be here today. I know that she submitted her Q4 highlights via email, so you guys probably have seen that, but I will run through those highlights as she sent them to me too. And if you have questions about them, I know Abby will be happy to answer them when she's back. But for our Q4 25 highlights, we'll talk a little bit about the 2025 Homegrown Festival. We did have a 10% increase in attendance, drawing about 5,000 people to downtown, so we count that as a great success. That festival has continued to grow year after year, so we look forward to doing that again this year. The downtown trick or treat welcomed 4,000 to downtown, and it really paired well with the city's trick or treat at City Hall. So really maximized family participation and a nice collaboration with City Hall. So thank you for that. And we were really honored to assist in early planning and participate in the ribbon cutting for the Twin Springs Park gazebo renovation. So really enjoyed getting to be a little piece of that wonderful renovation for downtown. And we also helped coordinate additional entertainment. For one of our most beloved community events, the Light Up Siloam Springs Parade down by Twin Springs Park. And then proudly supported the Elevate Her Women's Conference hosted by the Siloam Springs Chamber. a wonderful event. And one thing that we were surprised and happy to have some really great success with the commemorative brick campaign in Q4. Typically in a year, we might see 8 to 10 of those bricks, and we had 30 in 1 month. So we had just a lot of reflecting a strong increase in community investment and pride in downtown. So that is the end of the highlights for Q4 25. Again, if you have questions, I know Abby is always happy to field those, and we all enjoy a great partnership with the city board, so thank you for that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. And our last presentation, we have a gentleman that is retiring from the city after many years of service. And he is one of those people that we may get another employee, but we will not replace this man. He can run any piece of equipment that we have in the city, and he can do it with the expertise that you don't find very often in people. So we applaud you and we thank you for those years of service that you've given us. And Josh, I believe that you have a presentation.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you, and thank you, Board. Today, we recognize and celebrate Mr. Russ Martin for an incredible 42 years of dedicated service to the city of Siloam Springs. 42 years and I think 5 months to be exact. Over the past 4 decades, Russ has been far more than equipment operator. He's been a steady presence, a dependable teammate, and someone the city could always count on to get the job done right. It has been extremely weird this week, not having him eat his Brahms at the breakfast or at the break room table there at Public Works. Russ has quietly made a lasting impact on this community with the public works projects and services that residents rely on every day are far better because of his hands and because of his commitment. Just as important, the people that he worked alongside with are better for having worked with him. Russ Martin, thank you for your professionalism, your loyalty, and the example you've set for all of us. Your contribution will be felt long after today. And on behalf of the city of Siloam Springs, congratulations on your well-earned retirement and best wishes in the next chapter of your life.
Speak.
We promised him if he would come tonight and let us do the presentation that we would not make him do a speech. So thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ. That's what I call loyalty, Madam Mayor.
Absolutely. And with that, we will move into our consent agenda. Item A, regular meeting minutes, January 20th, 2026. Item B, workshop meeting minutes, January 20th, 2026. And that is it. So directors, is there any of those items that you would like to have pulled for separate consideration?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, David.
Letter A, there's just a few
Okay.
changes on the minutes.
Okay. So I will ask then, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with item A removed for separate consideration?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Burns.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Director Allen?
Yes, Madam Mayor, on the director comments on page 4, Director Betsy Blair was left out, and so I am going to ask that we have our clerk go re-listen for that section and just add it in with that change. And then also on the adjournment, it has Director Burns making the motion and seconding his own motion. I don't think that's possible. It was actually myself who made the motion to adjourn, and he seconded my motion. So those two simple changes, I just ask that we approve the minutes with those changes made by the clerk.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes with the proposed amendments. Roll call.
Hunt.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you, David. So with that, now we will move into our staff reports. First is our Planning Commission meeting minutes from December 9th, 2025, the Board of Adjustment meeting minutes for August 1st, 2025, and the Parks Advisory meeting minutes from December 18th, 2025. Christina, is there any comments from you for that, or?
These meeting minutes are included in the agenda for informational purposes only, so that's all I have to say.
Very good, thank you. So I'll just assume that all of the directors did receive copies of those minutes. Okay. So with that, we will move into our regularly scheduled items. We have a resolution, Resolution 05-26, the 2026 Revised Board Rules and Procedures. Christina?
Madam Mayor, the changes requested at the workshop during the last meeting have been incorporated into the board's rules and procedures by Director Hunt, and they're ready for the board's approval.
Thank you. So directors, is there anything that, any comments, questions, additions? Betsy?
Madam Mayor. So thinking about things that were brought up at the last meeting, there was concern over making sure there was documentation, et cetera. And so then I thought, to help support that, that maybe we should define what documentation is, so that it's not like rumors or gossip or whatever. So I printed up something that basically defines documentation. And I didn't know, obviously, this is a team effort. I am not attached to whether y'all want to do this or not, but I thought it might help clarify and take away some of the concerns that were mentioned at the last meeting. And I just put H.6 in there because that might be the appropriate place for it. I think there's an extra one. Oh, and actually, I'm sorry, there's also one for you, for the city administrator.
So you would propose this to be H6 which would be right after 5, preservation of legal rights and remedies, right?
Yeah, just to clarify, to make it, like I said, just to kind of help address some of the concerns from last time. If y'all want to do that, if not, I'm fine with that too.
All right. So
Where would that be inserted?
it would be under your policy addressing board member conduct, which is H.
Okay.
Okay, and then it would be under H6, which under board action, and then preservation of legal rights and remedies, and then right below that would be the definition of documented evidence.
And
I think that's a good idea to do description of what documented evidence means. It was definitely a point of contention that was discussed. The other point of contention that we discussed was who determines what the proof is, and we had said it would be the attorney and the administrator together. Did that get included? I didn't know if that was, those two personnel were included.
so, because that too bothered me and concerned me, and I was trying to, go over everything, the concerns from last time, and really struggled with how that should be handled appropriately and legally. And I know there were concerns over, the city administrator and talking to board members and on and on and on. So another thought I had, which obviously is up to y'all, is if there is documented proof or evidence, but it's not up to us to decide. There are government agencies that, if there is documented evidence, that the city administrator would then take take that, the documentation, and refer it to the appropriate government entity. And that would remove directors from making decisions about other directors. It would remove the city administrator from getting involved, because city administrators, I mean, they're technically our employee. So this would actually address that. It removes any subjectivity. It goes to a neutral third party, and they decide. So it takes us out of it. It takes the city administrator out of it. It takes the directors talking about stuff. It takes all of that out of it. Like I said, I struggled with how to do all this, and the attorney ended up handling, a lot of it last time. So anyway, this is just another thought to address that. But like I said, I'm not tied to any of this. It's whatever y'all feel is appropriate. So, and it's not about anybody in particular. It's about expectations. And this is not about, this is just procedural. And it puts it in somebody else's hands to decide if there was anything that was inappropriate, and if not, then great. But it's not left to us. It's left to a government entity that is their job. So I will let y'all, give your
Yes.
opinion.
Okay, thank you, Betsy.
No
David?
matter what we decide, I am reviewing things, since this subject even came up, as if this is 10, 15 years down the road, we need to be looking at, every board can make these changes, and so other boards can throw out this stuff if they wish, but I'm saying it would be ideal if we put something in place that will last for many years, and will stand the test of time. The thing I just wanted to reaffirm was that the question had come up, well, who decides what is proof? And I had thought we had decided, the attorney and the administrator together. So if what you're handing out, are you saying that supersedes those two individuals, or is that somewhere else within the document that the attorney and the administrator together?
I didn't have anything specific in mind. I was more thinking about the concerns that were brought up last time and just trying to address those. And I think, and I think the documented evidence, that would be a guideline that would tell the attorney or city administrator what falls under that. But I really did not have anything specific in mind. I was just trying to look at how can I address concerns across the board, but.
Mindy, do you remember when you edited these, was there anything that listed those two on?
Well, I did this the day after so that I wouldn't forget, but now it's been 2 weeks. I remember the discussion, and I remember there being concern with really appointing anyone to have to be sort of overseeing that process. So I thought we just sort of left it with, the informal resolution, and then kind of moves to the informal resolution. You see something, you go to that person, and then if the behavior still happens, then it would become more of a public thing, and it would remove all the individuals out of having to deal with the individual matter. I thought that's kind of what we had decided, because that's what it looks like to me, going from 2 to 3. Informal resolution would be if I have a problem with a board member, I would go to that board member. And if that behavior doesn't stop, then I would bring it up in an open meeting. That's, I think, what it is saying here.
Well, it was just a question, wherever we are in the process of the question of proof supposed proof, and so maybe H6 is actually addressing this new thing, definition of document evidence, because that was the question, is what is
Yeah.
considered proof? And we said, I think somebody said, well, I don't want just the administrator to decide. I said, then you have
Right.
the attorney, who definitely has the capability to know what proof is, and the administrator together. But maybe this H6 covers that. Christina, can you give that H6 to Heather and let her just look at that?
Well, and can I say, if we do add this, and I think it probably is helpful to add a definition of documented evidence, but if we do add it, then I would say, under number 3, where there's a reference to evidence, it says, and there is evidence proving the conduct. I would add the word documented before evidence there, and then with parentheses, see definition, H6.
Talking about in the first paragraph, number 3,
Number 3, yeah.
consideration by the board,
Yeah, just so we are referring to,
where it says there, serious nature, and there is evidence to put in the word documented.
and there is documented evidence, and then in parentheses, see H6 for definition.
For definition.
Oh, yeah.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I don't have a problem with definition. When it comes to referral to appropriate authorities, I'm not into that one. I think the whole purpose here is, once again, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record most of this year, right? So past, present, and future, we're shoring up some things that have occurred. One of them, in my intent of this one, is to provide a stable environment for the future city administrator to operate in. So that's the intent there. And also because of our information in this day and age is different. The social media thread, the misinformation expounding itself, it just gets blown out of proportion. And I'll be honest with you, last year, I've just sat here and observed a tremendous amount of mistakes or unfortunate incidents that have occurred within the city. As an example, software, the sprinkler head just busted. I mean, we've just had a lot of stuff, a city administrator leaving, all these things are happening, and just a lot of information flowing out there. And so we just had a workshop, and I made it clear there, we're problem solving, right? We're putting plans in place. Staff's gonna make that happen. And so on our end, we're gonna make this happen. But on the accountability side, there has to be some common sense to it, right? So we can't complicate this thing. We have a city attorney, they're on contract, there's an hourly fee, it can get pretty crazy town out there. I think we did a very good thing at the end of last year, where we just had some open communication, right? And sometimes just that open communication gets rid of and resolves a lot of those problems. So I'm all about the definition because, it defines it. But when it comes to the other, keep it simple. There is a chain of command that exists in the city. We're supposed to have a healthy working relationship with the city administrator. So then the city administrator, if we can't trust the city administrator and our city attorney bringing it back to us, and really the problem is either us as a board collectively or individually. And that's a whole, you can't write enough sheets of paper to resolve that issue, right? So I just would encourage us to, we've done a good job here, and I applaud the work. Thank you, Director Hunt. I went through it. I have several areas highlighted I think are relevant. So I support the definition. I don't know if the others need it. I think it's as simple as city admin and attorney, and then we move forward.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? If not, Heather, have you had an opportunity to read through this documented evidence definition?
Yes.
Yes. And do you see anything in there that would be a problem legally for this board if they adopted this as part of their policy? No?
I don't.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you. So then, if what I'm hearing is we want to amend these rules, policies, by adding H6, the definition, but not so much the referral to appropriate authorities. You want to leave that as you have it now, which would be, this documented evidence would be reviewed by the city administrator and city attorney. Is that kind of what I'm hearing and seeing from, yes? Okay, all right. So,
And then also
Yes.
adding documented in that paragraph in front of the word evidence.
right, okay. So that is under
Mayor?
H and number 2, right?
Well, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Right now, I'm not sure that it does say the city administrator or the attorney would review this. Does it say
Yeah,
it somewhere?
I'm
Am I
not
just
sure
missing
is.
it?
I think that may need to be actually, it gives the definition, documented evidence, but it doesn't say who will review the documented evidence. Because the last time, the question of only being the city administrator was the concern, not by me, but it was brought up, and I just said, how about we also add the attorney in to get together with the city administrator? So maybe
So,
that needs to be designated.
So I think it's in that paragraph, under consideration by the board, that, I don't. So if the same or similar conduct continues after informal notice, or if the conduct is of a serious nature and there is evidence, documented evidence, proving the conduct and confirmed or something by the city administrator or attorney. I think that's what you're looking for. Reviewed by,
How
No,
about something?
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead, Christina.
Well, I was going to say, how about something like the city administrator and attorney will review the evidence for sufficiency? Like to make sure that it's sufficient for the board
and
to
then the
even.
matter may be placed on the agenda.
Yes.
Yeah. What she said.
You could break that into 2 sentences.
Yeah, 2 sentences, yeah. So there is documented evidence, see definition, proving the conduct.
You're going to, yeah, you got to refer to the definition
Yeah.
somewhere in that language, yeah.
Well, so there is documented evidence, and see definition, proving the conduct, and the city attorney or city administrator have reviewed it for, what's the word you use?
It's sufficiency.
Sufficiency, but I
Sufficiency,
think she
then-
said and, city administrator
Yeah,
and.
we said and at the last
and
meeting.
The 2 of
everybody-
them, yes.
Yeah, so documented evidence, proving the conduct, and the evidence has been reviewed by the city administrator, and then the matter may be placed. Is that, that, yeah, because
I think that's kind of what I kind of got from what comments that were made, is that's kind of what everybody would be comfortable with.
and I think that's what Director Burns was saying too. You were
Yeah.
okay with just leaving it
Yeah.
simple with they review it, but not adding
Yeah.
the appropriate authorities. Is that right?
I'll be okay when we decide, and then I would suggest that on number 3, consideration by the board, that we read that, the city admin, we make that amendment, and then we read it before I I mean, I want to hear it all
Oh,
flow
yeah, yeah, yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Because we're talking a lot, but
Right.
it's better to hear it.
So do you have that written down, what
Do I have it written? Okay.
she had
Yes.
said?
I don't have it written down, but I think
Okay,
I-
look, let's,
If the same or similar conduct continues after informal notice, or if the conduct is of a serious nature and there is documented evidence, CH6 for definition, proving the conduct, and the evidence has been reviewed by the city attorney and city administrator and found sufficient, comma, the matter may be placed on the agenda. That's a long run-on sentence, but
it says
you
what.
made it work.
Yeah, but
It-
it says, I think,
well.
yeah, it says what I think
Does-
everybody's
did
really
somebody
wanting
write
to
down?
say. Yeah.
don't make me say it again.
Madam Mayor, isn't that her job? Isn't it your job in real life?
I can't write and think at the same time. Somebody got that right. Okay.
All right, so first of all, then, I would need a motion to add the documented evidence, H6, along with the changing of the sentence under consideration by the board. Those two amendments, or, I guess not really amendments, but
Well, they are.
changes, they are amendments to the.
To
yeah.
the proposal.
To the proposed, and this is going to be our, what are we calling, our 2026 board rules and procedures.
How
Okay?
about, should we do them individually?
And you certainly may do that. If you want to consider each one, an amendment first for the language and then for the definitions, is that right?
Exactly what Mindy just said is what we want that
Okay.
number 3 to read.
Okay? And you want to make that one amendment, and then we'll,
Well, or we can do both. I just want to make sure what she said is what we get in, because she read it, she said it exactly,
the way we want to do it.
yeah, it came off.
Okay?
You got all that down now, city clerk?
Christina.
Clear as mud?
And a transcript, so yes.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, the transcript.
So so let me ask you, Heather, since we are making these amendments, are we better doing them as two separate things? One for the definition, and then one for the change of the wording in item, the conflict of interest under the Board of Directors.
Because the definition refers to because number 3 refers to the definition, couldn't it be done in one?
I don't think it matters. I think you can do it all in one for a resolution.
Okay, okay. I just want to make sure, since we're making,
But we do want to repeat
yes,
what was decided by, I don't think putting C. Mindy Hunt is going to suffice.
I don't think that will do it. Yeah, yeah. Just speak to Mindy Hunt and she would take. So, all right then, first thing I'm going to ask is, do you have all of that written down so that you can read that
have
back?
it. I'll have
Okay,
it, yes.
so then we are looking for a motion to make the amendment, and would you please read the exact wording that we have?
I will make the motion. Do you need a motion
Yeah,
to do both?
yeah, we do. Do we need to read
sorry.
exactly what the change is in the motion, or just to make the proposed change? If we just say that, the proposed change to under item H, number 3, the wording and definition of documented evidence. Can
And
we do
then-
one motion to include both of those?
I think you can. Yeah,
Okay.
there is no reading requirement for a resolution,
right.
so I think you guys can do that however you feel comfortable.
Okay, okay. So,
You want Janae to reread?
yes. Do we want to, Christina?
have the original up. I just wrote down what was added, which is the word documented in CH6 for definition. So, and sufficient.
I can read it again, I think I
Yeah.
have it.
So,
But we need
Yeah, so
to
let's-
get it written.
yeah,
Well, and as I'm saying it, if you want to write it.
Please go slow.
Okay, I will. Although I speak very fast. Okay. If the same or similar conduct continues after informal notice, or if the conduct is of a serious nature and there is documented, I was going fast on the part that we're not changing. This is the part we're changing.
yeah.
Documented evidence, and are you with me on number 3? Documented evidence, and in parentheses, CH6 for definition, proving the conduct and reviewed by the city administrator and city attorney for sufficiency, and is found sufficient. Comma, and then the matter, and everything else is the same. So if you want to read that back to me, or back to us.
So under number 3, you said documented evidence, see H6 for definition, proving the conduct and review by city administrator and city attorney, and is found sufficient, the matter, and then continue on what is already there.
Thank you.
So is everyone good with that wording? What we've, okay.
You should probably add, and the evidence is found sufficient. I'm sorry. And the evidence is found sufficient.
And evidence is found sufficient.
Yeah, not the conduct.
Right.
Because then it sounds like the conduct. Then it's a moot point.
Right.
So insert documented evidence after the word "and," city attorney, city administrator and city attorney, comma, and
And the evidence is found sufficient.
Mindy, I got to tell you, thank you for taking all this and wrapping it up, because you made all the bullet points look a lot better and all, no, really.
I heard you say that.
Well, it was a mess, kind of, with the different.
Well, because we had changed it
formatting,
year after
yeah.
year, so,
So you
no,
brought it
I
all
mean,
together.
he's talking about the whole thing. I tried to be consistent with the whole thing, because we just kept adding to it, and so just,
I was fine with it. It was meant to be a draft, a working document. Yeah, I mean, we started this in September, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we've got it fine-tuned down to a document that everyone can live with and feel comfortable with. So, all right, is there anyone else that has anything on?
Mayor,
Yes.
just, so if this passes, could we get start with the new, and, I don't know,
You'll get a revised
revised?
copy of this, yes.
And
Yes.
it's helpful to have them.
Laminated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we can get those again once we've got this all passed and approved. Okay, so then, okay, very good. So is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the policy for the board that we are reviewing? There is not. I will come back to the board. And first thing I'm going to ask is for a motion to amend the policy and procedures under letter H, item 3, for consideration by the board. We are adding the language that there is documented evidence, in parentheses, see section H6 for definition, proving the conduct and reviewing by administrator and city attorney, and found to be sufficient, the matter may be placed on the agenda. And also adding H6 definition of documented evidence.
is going to be
So
the
moved.
evidence is found sufficient.
Evidence is found sufficient.
Hold
Okay.
on, Madam Mayor, I don't think we approved this document at all last time. So can we not
No.
just approve the document
Well,
with
first-
the amendments?
First, we have to make
We
the
have to-
amendments.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Because that's what was presented to us tonight to consider.
Okay.
So now we're making these amendments to that.
Okay.
Okay?
Then we'll approve it
And
as
then we can
amended.
approve the
Okay.
policies as amended.
Okay.
Okay? So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Bristler?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Carroll?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Do I have a motion to approve? This is going to be Resolution 05-26, the revised board and rules procedures. Do I have a motion?
As amended.
As amended.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Allen?
Yes.
Carroll?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Bristler?
Yes. Motion is approved. Thank
This will
you
now
all.
take the place of the one,
It will be,
what we
yes,
voted last meeting was just placeholder, and so.
that's right. The old will be replaced with the new. So next is Resolution 06-26, approve Williams Law Firm for city prosecutor. Christina?
Madam Mayor, Williams Law Firm has provided prosecutorial services for the city since March of last year, and the city would like to continue their contract for another year. The amount is included in the 2026 budget.
Thank you, ma'am. Directors, comments or questions about this resolution?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, David?
I just could not remember what we had budgeted last year. I know the fee is going up this year. What was last year?
Last year, you guys had to amend the budget because Bailey had done it for
Right.
the first couple of months, and then I
Oh.
believe you guys
Okay.
approved up to an additional, or up to $100,000, I do believe.
Anyone else? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address Resolution 06-26? There is not. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 06-26 for approval of the Williams Law Firm?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Carroll?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Rissler? Yes. Allen?
Yes.
Motion is approved. With that, we will move to Resolution 07-26, Chick-fil-A Significant Development Fee Waivers for the 3800 to 3900 block of US Highway 412 East. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if they did a slide on this one or not. This is a waiver request that was submitted by Chick-fil-A. This usually comes in prior to the significant development permit, but we have been known to issue these after the fact. We did so with the cabinet warehouse project. This waiver request, if you look at the memo, the total waiver request is $74,224.44. That includes $9,660 associated with waiver of building permit fees. They paid $1,000 more than that. However, there's a state fee that's associated with requirements from the state law, and we cannot refund those. We also have street impact fees that come to $63,564.44 that are requested to be waived as well. You may notice on the request letter that they did request some additional waivers. Those are not, those don't require the board's approval. Those go through the city administrator's office, typically after the board determines if the other waivers want to go through first. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. Directors, comments or
Mayor?
questions? Yes, David?
I just want to point out for public purposes or whatever, that by far the majority of these fees, 63,000, are for street impact fees, which are not exactly, hard fees that have to, they're done. But I mean, there's not any new streets being built. This is already a developing area for other restaurants, so it's kind of not as important as if it was in a completely undeveloped area, and there was going to be. So I'm just pointing that out. Thank you.
And
Thank you, David.
I can
Yes,
add a
Chris?
little bit to that. This is along 412. It's also along a private drive. The private drive, the drive that is between McDonald's and the proposed Chick-fil-A location, actually approved, it's not any proposed anymore, it'll be under development soon. That is a private drive that wraps around that, behind where the new Olive Garden and Chili's is. So this does not abut any sort of city streets at this time.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Directors, anyone else?
Yeah, Mayor?
Yes,
I
Brad?
just, I'm a fan of the incentives program, and so there's two states in the United States, and that's Arkansas and Arizona, that seems to struggle with this, and it's going to be coming up for Representative Torres to tackle with, and other people. You're welcome. But I acknowledge there is an impact, immediate, because we're not collecting revenue. Having said that, if we're forward-thinking and we're thinking of the next generation, then that money will be much more. And so for anybody that questions that, we've already set, this is our third one that's fairly significant. And moving forward, I'm going to support some others that I may not get support for, but I think it helps this community, and I think we're wise for doing this. Not just because it's Chick-fil-A, right? This is anybody, USA, right? So we're on that road. We've started that, and that's what's going to make it appealing for other folks to take a look at us. So, but I appreciate you guys' hard work, and I know the community is excited about having another place to eat in Siloam. We like to eat here.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what we do.
Thank you, Brad. Anyone else? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to Resolution 07-26? And there is not. So, directors, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 07-26?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Blair?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Rissler? Yes. Allen?
Yes.
Carroll?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you all very much. So with that, we will move to our administrator's report. Christina?
Madam Mayor, purchases in excess of $30,000 include the following: $31,153.38 for inventory related to transmission lines in electric, $44,415 for wellness physicals for the fire department, $51,249.99 for chemicals in public works inventory, $51,279.95 for 2 mowers at the airport, $55,164 for an F-250 for animal services. For announcements, all I have this evening is that the Sweetheart Ball starts this Friday with a family formal and will continue through Saturday with 2 daddy-daughter dances.
Thank you, ma'am. Those are events that everyone is excited about. I know, they look forward to that. It's a good family event, so. All right, with that, we will move then to our director's reports. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for your input. We look forward to our new restaurants coming and our other retail stores that we are excited about. So, thank you, Chris, and to your department for all the hard work that you all are doing. We appreciate that, and I know that I hear compliments that you all are very professional and very easy to work with, so kudos to you all. Thank you for that. So with that, I will move to Mindy, and David, we will end with you. Mindy, you have the floor.
Okay, I don't have a lot. Looking forward to the chamber banquet on Thursday night. Thank you all for your work on that. And then I just want to thank Parks and Rec for offering that family option this year, in addition to the daddy-daughter dance. I think that will be a good experience. So thank you for your work on that.
Thank you, ma'am. Betsy?
Yes, thank you to staff for all the work on that. It sounds like it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I love that there are different options. I also wanted to say thank you to the communications person. The Facebook posts have been great, keeping us informed, up to date on things. I even noticed, and I'm sorry for him, I don't know if it was 11 o'clock one night, there was an update on whether it was the streets or something. It's been great, and I really appreciate it. And thank you to Randy and to Lindsay for the Dogwood Festival coming up. That is such an awesome part of our heritage. I can remember going to it. It started when I was little. I don't remember what year. But it's a really neat thing, and I know it's a huge amount of work, and y'all just do a fantastic job. So thank you very much for that. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but y'all know I like to let you know about the nonprofits around town. With the senior center, on their Facebook page, they said that they're currently open for socialization, but no meals right now due to lack of kitchen staff. So also, if you're looking for a job, they're looking for kitchen staff. But everybody's still welcome to come in, play cards, wee bowl, use the exercise equipment. They have gospel singing on Tuesdays, art class on Wednesdays, Bible study Mondays. So go on in and enjoy everything. And just an FYI, and I guess we won't know until in 2 weeks, the board meeting might be moved because of the water damage. Do you?
Yes, so they're pulling the humidity out of the air right now, so there's fans going in other rooms. But once they've done that, then they'll start the removal of the areas that need to be repaired. So anywhere you see like the blue tape around the city, those things will have to be removed and replaced. So that will be, and there'll be heavy disinfectant at the same time. So we will probably be moving that.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that we let everybody know where. Right now, we're probably going to do it over at the district court.
And thank goodness for insurance. Yes. And last thing, I can't forget the animals this time, because somebody pointed that out last time. Actually, not last thing. I did stop by the animal shelter before the last snow, and they like rawhide bones, the flavored rawhide chips, anything just to give the animals something to do, especially in this weather, where they can't get outside so much and the dog walkers aren't as active. So, if you're out there buying stuff, you might buy something and drop it off. And thank you also to the emergency response people who helped shelter everyone when the weather was bad. So that is all.
Thank you, ma'am. Lisa?
No comments.
All right. So, sure?
Yeah.
Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to take care of quality business first. Happy anniversary, my love, 31 years. I also want to say thank you to the city for what I considered a good job on the snow removal. I saw how we pre-treated, how we treated the arteries, we treated the secondary streets. I felt like things were taken care of properly, decently in order, and it goes unnoticed unless you can't get out of your driveway or something. But I felt like an excellent job was done, and I want to say thank you. And also for the city, how the staff has all come together during this time of the water damage. We don't see it, but you know, it's a time where, you know, we've lost some equipment, a few other things like that. But it's also a time where the staff has opportunity to come together and work as one, and to me, that's a time we need to step into. And I'm thankful for it. Lastly, tonight, I want to say, I guess it's more of a tribute, a thank you. And that's to Chief Miller, who has retired recently. And I just want to say that my time that I have spent with him was professional, and excellence was portrayed. And I appreciate that. And for 25 years, now he wasn't always chief, but that's how I know him as, but to make a sacrifice of life as he stood in the front line of protection. And it wasn't just him, but the team he was on, the police department, the fire department, as they stand between us and harm or danger. And many times we don't see it. It may even just go right by us. But they take those steps to be there. It's a big deal when you intentionally give years of your life to the safety and well-being of this community. And the one thing that I really appreciate about the work that he did, and I'm going to say he, but I'm also going to say the team, was it did not go unnoticed. The understanding of the need for mental health and taking the steps to raise awareness and do something about the well-being of not only our police force, but our fire department as well. And I've seen over these last few years where I'll go by the library and you see all these police cars or all these fire department trucks out there, and they're not from Siloam Springs. What's going on with that? Well, it's because we have taken the initiative to be a leader in that and to do what is necessary to not only train our people, but to see that others in the state of Arkansas are trained. And why is it that we would hold something here and someone from eastern Arkansas would come over here to learn? We're doing something right here, and I really appreciate that about who we are and where we're going as a police department and fire department. And I want to say thank you to Chief Miller, because I believe he was a good part of that. And the legacy that was left, and those who are taking the reins now, I believe we should have full confidence in. And I thank you for that.
Thank you, Reed. Brad?
I can't, how do you upread when he takes all your stuff? I can't undo your marriage thing, bro. It's just not gonna happen. I'll have to live a lot longer. First of all, Christina, can we, and I know we've all expressed frustration on billing on the electrical side. So when you get that resolved, and I know it's some other issues going on, we need to get that information out there, and the question asked by the resident tonight needs to be out on our social media page. We need to wrap this nightmare up, solve the problem, no matter what it is, and it's gonna be what we don't like. I know the intent was well and all that, but it's not working, so whatever we have to do and to get the information out there and make the correction, and so we can get back on the correct glide path, and I know you're working on that. I appreciate that. I just want to say that publicly, and I'm sure we'll get some information out there answering some of those questions. So thank you. I had 3 things, now it's 4. I'm not going to forget one guy. He's Adam Rusk. He's a battalion chief. He got 28 years in. He tried to die on us just a little while ago. He's back on. I gave him words of wisdom. He's doing the complete opposite of what I suggested. He did the same thing when I was a rookie, or when he was a rookie at my firehouse, but 28 years at the firehouse, and he's gone through the whole scale of life, and he's raised a family, and that's all through the city. We gave him a livable wage, and so we appreciate Adam. He's not going to make it 42 years, but 42 years with the city it's an interesting challenge. I met with Christina about public safety concerns, and she addressed those. And so my relationship with Scott Miller is different, because we stood up at that podium without the support of our chiefs fighting for a pay scale. When we were just line function guys. I was on the fire side, he was on the police side. So I respect his decision. I understand that decision, because I had to make a decision too in my career, which led me to this board, which I never thought I'd be on. But to me, it's public service, right? So whatever his new adventure's on, I wish him the best. With Derek Spicer being the interim police chief, so congratulations. And I just spoke with him when I got in here and just encouraged him to continue to work on pay. I know Miller and Christina had some things in motion. Recruitment and retention. We don't want to become that revolving door. Keep the morale up at the PD. I know you do a good job with that. And so that's my cheer for the PD, is just we keep working on what was worked on before, and keep us safe. And then the last one is my beat on the drum on the wall, but a couple of meetings ago, I think Christina provided everybody with a Sager Creek Wall Restoration Action Plan from July 24, 2009. We had my last time on the board, we started a Sager Creek Advisory Committee. We used that as a template. And so I would just encourage us, I know we're working on a Parks Master Plan. I know we have things going on at Sager Creek, but we have funds available. And what I would like to see us do, and I just encourage the board to think about it, maybe give some feedback at the next board meeting, or to Christina, is that I feel very strongly that, and I think most of us agree, the American Legion Hall, the community building, is going to have to be addressed, and not with a Band-Aid, done properly. And I think that plan needs to be in action sometime this year. We need to get going with that. We have the funds available. Along with that, as we look at the dam that's going to be repaired, right, and we have the funds, we're doing that. But go from the dam back to the East Main Bridge and revisit the action plan and look at some of those suggestions that were made back in 2009. And we revisit those, maybe make some revisions, but we have the money, we can make that happen. There's 2 things in the state of Arkansas that are the biggest revenue sources. And one is agri, and the other one is tourism. Agri is about 23 billion, a little plus, and tourism's 9+ billion and change. And we live in this little epic city here, and Northwest Arkansas is growing, and I want some of the corridors money in our town. It's free money. And it takes the burden off our taxpayers, and it helps us resolve a lot of our issues. And a lot of our issues are money. And it's free money. We just have to do a little bit, and we have it there. So I just encourage us going through the year that we tackle those 2 things, and the other plans are in place, and they're going to take time. And so while they're there, we can get that done. That's respecting the past, bringing it into the present, and just setting us up for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. David?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wish to echo Brad's and Reed's thoughts on, well, we saw it tonight, the acknowledgement of a 42-year employee acknowledging Russ Martin. And as you said, Mayor, he could operate any machinery we had. It's loyalty with a capital L. And in the same vein, loyalty was with Chief Miller, and after 25 years, I hand it to him for lasting as long as he did. That is a very stressful job, being in the police department, and to build a very successful, very knowledgeable succession plan, depth of personnel as he has been a part of. It's thanks to his leadership that we now have some very wise and very knowledgeable interim leadership with interim Chief Spicer and interim Deputy Chief Fine. And I agree with Brad. Safety is always the number one point to make, the number one determinant of a successful city or any government, federal, state, local. You must always take into account the safety of the citizens, and because that cannot always be done as an individual. And so we have to protect our citizens. And I think that the two safety departments we have with their leadership have worked hand in hand with our Chamber of Commerce for years. It is 52 years that our Dogwood Festival has been a big, big part of bringing tourists to Siloam, bringing business to Siloam, and bringing joy and fun for a weekend to so many people. Last year, to expand the footprint, to build it a little bit bigger, was not done willy-nilly. It was done with the involvement of those two chiefs at the PD and the fire department. And it was made successful because of the long thought process and the long discussions that were had to think about it in every possible way to make it work. You're never going to please everyone. You still have to have traffic flow. There are people that live near downtown that have to be able to get home. But I will say this, it is not the Chamber's job, it is not most certainly the city's job to make sure an individual business is successful or unsuccessful. We do all we could do for all citizens and those who come here to stay safe. And I got to hand it to the Chamber. It's a thankless job what the Chamber personnel have to do at times, and they do a great job. And they are the key, have been for years, on bringing very deep tourism on every level for helping the local businesses during that time. I mean, every hotel is full, every restaurant is being visited by the number of tourists. So we have huge success every year thanks to not just the personnel that work for the Chamber, but the Chamber Board of Directors. And they're very involved every year in doing that. And so I can't thank them enough, and I can't thank the personnel enough for the amount of headaches they deal with, the amount of hard work they deal with. And I just got to hand it to them, and I appreciate them a great deal. I was glad we could get the board rules finalized and set tonight. Yeah, it was important. I appreciate that, that we got that done. I appreciated Josh explaining the street signs and what we are going to be doing now in the future to have a revolving plan to update signs and not let them get to this point, and I appreciate that greatly. And goodness gracious, it's been requested for 15 years that I know of, Chick-fil-A is coming to Siloam Springs. So I know that so many people have made demands that we could get one, and so finally it's going to happen. And we can't say that that was not also helped along by the Chamber of Commerce, so I appreciate that too. If you read the Parks Advisory Board minutes, one of the key points that they've asked for, and I believe we need to support them, is a parks master plan. And I think that that is something we need to encourage. They've also made a point that they believe it should be offshooted to be a separate Parks Department, not Parks and Recreation, but separate. And there are pluses and minuses, and that needs to be thought about. But a Parks Master Plan most certainly is something that I think would help the entire city, the city staff, and our board on the future. Mr. Reed Carroll, congrats on 31 years. That's an accomplishment for you and Michelle, and I appreciate that you guys have stuck it out and been so good of a couple, and you are. City's job of removing snow on streets is not the only single job that our city has to do. And I've seen these Facebook posts about, well, Airport Road, the county got it all done on their part before. The county does not have all the other departments that the city has. Their main job is county roads and the sheriff's department. So I'm just saying, we have a whole lot more responsibility than the county does on doing other things that we must do. And we have a whole lot more streets, roads, whatever, to clear than the county. So for complaint about what the city didn't do, it gets frustrating because people do not understand the amount of work and the amount of hours getting out, pre-treating, doing all these things to be productive ahead of time. So we need to be thanking them a lot more than complaining. I appreciate the hard work of our street department. Anyway, Madam Mayor, I appreciate you and the job you do, and thank you, and I will make a motion to adjourn.
And before I ask for a second for that motion, just real quick, I know Josh is new to his position, and the question was brought up about what happens to the street signs. And Dennis Kendi.
To the what? Oh, to
street
the old signs?
And Dennis Kendi was here, who has been a part of our street department forever. So I just slipped back and asked him real quick, what have you done or what do you do with the street signs? And he said, after they get so many of them, that he takes them to the metal recycling area and makes a little bit of money that comes back to the city for the street department. So that is what is happening to those signs and has been happening. So that kind of answers a question I know that some of us had and the public had asked. So thank you, Dennis, for that. With that, I will ask, do I have a second for adjourn? Second. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are adjourned.